The annual NFL draft is almost as popular as the Super Bowl. It takes the wind right out of the first round of the basketball and hockey playoffs. No other league can generate excitement of hiring decisions like the National Football League, whose every event is the biggest moment in sports, the only all-year-round sport in the world. The interesting part of sports draft is the best player in the sport gets to go to the worst team from the prior year, maintaining competitive balance to a certain degree. The flaw in that could be that the organization is losing for more reasons than simply the lack of talent, which we have seen teams have top picks in back-to-back years. And some troubled franchises do not always have the top pick, but have a long resume of struggle. And that is true of this year's team with the top overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have struggled to find stability as a competitive franchise. Investments in coaches have not worked out for reasons outside of game action. Players have not stayed healthy enough at times to compete. After last year's reset of bringing in Tom Brady to the ownership group led to another reset, the Raiders seem to have finally positioned themselves to be able to see light and dig out of the division basement. They signed Nakobe Dean right out from under my Eagles, added other stars, and ended up retaining Max Crosby. So, heading into the draft, they made moves that should elevate the team. In the draft, they added their quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, who is coming off an undefeated season and collegiate national championship. He will join the newly rebuilt roster and have the opportunity to learn behind Kirk Cousins, a high-skilled veteran who has had a good football career, and clearly the best business mind amongst players, but a person that plays the game the right way, has great character and has experience being the faces of franchises before, and dealing with adversity with class. Still, there are no guarantees of instant success in football, especially with the most important and challenging position in all of sports. Many media pundits and former athletes turned media talk about how the position is overvalued, but there is no other position in sports that directly impacts the outcomes of games and seasons like the quarterback. As a result, teams will overdraft quarterbacks because there is a need to secure critical talent when the need arises, and teams will need to put them on the field as soon as possible before they sign the biggest contract that sits on their team's salary cap. There may be better players talent-wise, but those players are directly dependent on their quarterback, who is only indirectly dependent on them because of the structure of the game. There is a good chance the Rookie of the Year will come from a host of other players because they will have a better chance of seeing the field sooner. If not Week 1, Jeremiah Love, out of Notre Dame, will probably be starting for the Cardinals Week 1. Makai Lemon may be starting or at the very least playing Week 1 for my Philadelphia Eagles, and those talented Ohio State receivers will be out there as well. But Mendoza will most likely be the highest paid and potentially the longest career out of all of them simply because of the position and his potential. In every draft, there is a great deal of optimism to some degree. Teams may point out that they got every pick they wanted, even if they did not. Fans may celebrate that their team got every player they want, but we really will not know how impactful the draft will be until a few years later. Players do not all develop the same manner and on the same timeline, but we can project whether the team addressed their needs. The Dallas Cowboys did a good job of adding talent where they needed it most. Obviously, I am not a fan of them, but I will give credit where credit is due, and they did draft well. This obviously is happening in the cloud of uncertainty that they created right before the draft by saying that George Pickens will play on his fifth-year option. They have not had a good run of players with the same agent who they have given ultimatums to. The Los Angeles Rams made some picks that were considered stretches, but they identified a talent that fits their strategic plan and made the pick. Set aside that this is a draft and there is an order. They made picks based on what they need for their vision of their franchise. Forget the framework and dogma the media puts on the event. They secured what they need. I have never been a fan of media judging teams based on how they drafted against the outlets' mock drafts. For my Philadelphia Eagles, this draft has been impactful and I like the moves Howie has done once again, even though it all but solidifies that I.J. Brown will be heading to another team. Securing Makai Lemon to add to the talent that Howie has added was something I am excited about. Some fans are not seeing the strategic side of the pick. Lemon may not have the exact same measurables as Brown. They are different players and body types, but he is a highly talented receiver that adds a lot to the overall receiver room. Hollywood Brown and Wicks are both sizable talents. Having another receiver that separates, competes for the ball, and is versatile makes us more dynamic and unpredictable. Like my fellow fans, I am hopeful that our new offensive philosophy will make us more versatile and allow players to succeed with scheme, not just overall talent. One of the problems last year was that if Brown or Smitty were doubled or simply did not win against a highly talented defense on the other side, there were not options for Hurts to throw the ball too safely. I like that we added to our line with a massive talent in Bell. We should add to our lines each year in my opinion, and we will have to see how well it works with the new offensive line coach. He has big shoes to fill and hopefully he can maintain the quality we have enjoyed under Stout. We do not know how long we have Lane and Landon, so getting potential replacements in the rotation is important. Also, there is no telling how long Dallas Goedert will continue taking team-friendly deals to stay in Philly. At the very least, we added talent to help the position, which hopefully will make us a more dynamic tight end duo again. When we have two pass-catching tight ends, we tend to do well. So, I am hopeful. The biggest moment again was a draft trade, where we secured help on our defensive line with securing Grenard from Minnesota for 2 third-round picks this year and next year's. That will help our line out, and hopefully we get a more consistent rush to go along with our all-pro secondary and new cornerback. Our defense has the potential to once again be a beast, despite losing the talent we did this offseason. This offseason and draft has made me hopeful for next season that we will be positioned to be in contention once again. Unfortunately, we will say goodbye to I.J. Brown. But that is life in sports. We had to see Reed, Dean, and Phillips go. And we have replaced them all. Wish them all the best.